Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is, whenever you watch this. Hello to you and welcome again to my YouTube channel. If you are new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all the love. Those that have been showing me love, I appreciate it. All the comments, likes, shares, I'm here for it and I love you back. Thank you so much. So today I'm going to give you a little bit of my personal life. I'm going to talk to you about my love story, or I like to call it our love story. My husband is not joining me right now because it takes about 2 to 3 business days to convince him to be on camera, and I didn't have the time and the patience. I'm working on the patience. So here I am. He can obviously come and confirm all of these facts when he watches. He's more of a watcher. I'm more of the on camera kind of girl. So he gives me all the support from behind the scenes. He cheers me on. So he's gonna watch this and yeah, hopefully he comments. Please comment, babe. People want to hear from you too. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna talk about our love story. I need to give you a little bit of a background so you understand why I call my husband my favorite miracle. And I hope this inspires someone. I hope this helps someone, because I was one of the people that I just thought I'd never get married. I thought I would never be the person to get married. And here I am. I actually got married at the age of 25, and who would have thought? I was shocked. I was like, what? God, me? Really? And yeah, so I feel like it's worth telling this story so that someone out there feels inspired. Of course, this may not be for the people who don't believe in marriage. This is for that one person who feels demotivated and who feels like they'll never find that person, because I was the person that felt like I'd never find someone who loves me for me, or I'll never find someone who values me enough to actually want to marry me. Until I had to change my mindset to it being about me and me loving myself enough to know that I am worth it, and that I am valued, and that I am worth being loved. So let's get to it. I met my husband at church, right? But before I met him at church, let me just mention that my husband and I have been at the same church for over 10 years, but we only met 2 years ago. 3 years ago, 2018, March. Oh, it's March. Oh, it's almost our meeting anniversary. Yeah, so we met so it's crazy. I knew everyone around him. Everyone around him knew me. We were friends with him. They knew my parents. He knew my parents, and my parents knew him. And my mom was actually very fond of him. It's just so funny that we never met. We just never crossed paths. It's God's doing, I guess. So in 2018, I started taking God a little more seriously than I did. And I rededicated my life to Christ. I went to church. I started really putting my heart and my soul into church activities, because I'm generally a passionate person. So whatever task I have, I make sure that my heart and soul is in it, and I do it to my best of my ability. So I started getting involved in church activities, doing all of this. And I was really like a Jesus person, man. And I said to myself, I'm never, gonna be with a man who doesn't want to marry me. Because at the end of the day, just before 2018, I had the worst emotional experience ever in my life. That was the time that, at the time, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. It was a hard time. There were certain events that triggered that. Yes, it did involve a guy. And I just thought that it wasn't for me. Relationships weren't for me. Marriage definitely was out of the question for me. And it took time for me to find myself. That's why I just ran to God. I sought after God, and I was like, God, I need you. And only God could really heal the pain. Only God. No amount of hugs, no amount of I love yous, no amount of money could really just heal that pain. It was only God, and I sought after God. And so during that time, I just fell in love with God, and I fell in love with Jesus and all the beautiful things in the Word of God about me. And I started loving myself, valued myself. And in that, I started blooming, I started glowing, and I just grew, and I learned a lot about myself, and I started getting involved in a lot of church activities. And so my husband was also very much a church person. He still is very much involved in church activities. Maybe that's why we never met, because I wasn't really that kind of a person until 2018. And so when we did meet at church, there was this one night, it was must have been Easter, and for the very first time at church, I was hosting this event, and I was so nervous, but I had to do it, and I just asked God to give me grace, and I did it, and it turned out to be so great. It was myself and this other brother of mine, and we emceed together, and it was really great. And after the service, I was with my cousin. My cousin's sister is very much also involved in church activities, so I was with her at the time because I didn't have no friends. I didn't know anybody. I was just, this girl. I wasn't new. People knew me, but I didn't know people. People knew me by virtue of the fact that my parents are pastors in church, but then I didn't know them, and so I was just following my cousin's sister around. And so we met this guy, and he was dressed in this Nigerian attire, and I really liked him. Liked the attire. So my sister-in-law was like, oh yeah, no, this is Cynthia, this is Norman, this is Cynthia. And he stretched out his hand, and I greeted him. There was no COVID that time, so we could do handshakes. Although I'm not really a handshake person, I'm more of a hug person. Please bear that in mind when you meet me. So, he stretched out his hand, and he's not like the guy that's into girls. He would normally keep his distance. So, we were like a meter apart, and he stretched out his hand, and he's like, hi, how are you? And he had this massive smile on his face, and I was like, who is this guy? He's so interesting. And I told him, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. And it's not that he was handsome. Yes, he is. I do think my husband is really attractive, but it wasn't that he was handsome. It was just that he had this aura about him. He was like a bright star. He was the shining light. It was beautiful. I just saw him as a beautiful person. And that was that. And he couldn't stop smiling. I couldn't stop smiling. In fact, he didn't even want to let go of my hand, and I had to take it away by force. He's definitely gonna dispute this, but it's my channel. I say what I say. So after some time, it was just like that. I got voted into youth leadership, and he was also very much active in the youth leadership. He had a lot of leadership roles, and so we started meeting in the boardrooms, and when we started having youth meetings. If those of you who know the church that I go to, we are very big on hierarchy and leadership and structures. And so even the youth body has a youth board and different chairpersons from different branches of the church. So I was then sitting in the same board as he was, or on the same board, whichever is grammatically correct. I always say that, as he was. And we just, every time in the meetings, I would say that I'm often misunderstood by people around me. If you don't really know me, you won't get me. And so in the board meetings, people wouldn't really get my jokes. And okay, maybe they weren't really funny now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, he got them, and he would always laugh. And when I would raise a point that nobody else would get, he would try to elaborate on it so that everybody else around me could understand. He was my guy. He was so supportive. And I was like, oh, this guy. And whenever he would speak, it would make so much sense, and people would listen. He's not someone who would talk a lot, but when he would speak, or when he would talk or give an opinion, everyone would listen, and it would carry so much weight. Up to today, guys, when my husband talks, whatever he says carries so much weight. He's not like some of us who talk all the time. People don't care anymore. They're just like, yeah, you keep talking. But he's someone that when he speaks, it carries so much weight and so much authority. So that was incredibly attractive. And I was like, whatever, man, I don't like this guy. He's just cute. He's just smart, but it is what it is. So after some time, we went for our first youth outing. Guys, let me sip some water. My water's almost done. And so we went for our first outing, and we went to a particular restaurant that is now closed. So, and we went as a youth group. So this was a new board, and within this board, there were 2 or 3 people that knew each other, but there was so much tension because, it's a new thing, it's a new board, and people don't really know how to interact with people they haven't been interacting with. And I didn't know people. People knew me, so I had to work really hard to create friendships and bonds. So here comes this guy. I knew about one or two people there. And here comes this guy. So he sat next to me and we were on this table. So everyone else, they were just quiet. It was an awkward setting, awkward scene. Nobody knew what to say, what to do. So Norman and I just decided, you know what? I don't know if Norman handled the menu and I handled the money, but I think he handled the money and I handled the menu. And we just made it work. Like we just flowed. Like everything was just cool. And from that day onwards, every time we're in the youth meetings or every time we plan stuff together, it always works. And you know, because we're both passionate people and our energies would just connect, and it was such a beautiful thing and I started realizing that, oh my gosh, I'm falling for this guy. And so he started calling me a lot. He started texting me. Now the thing with Norman is he's not the kind of guy that would hit on a girl just out of the blue. He would always have to find a way to sort of like talk to the girl. And I was a very free person, and I don't know why with me, because with Norman, he's a very serious guy also. Maybe that's why girls wouldn't really approach him. He's very serious, and you wouldn't just approach him if you don't know him. But I didn't care. I was like, oh, please, whatever, like it's me and I talk to everyone and I want to laugh and I'm jolly. So I don't know how I broke through that shell, but the guy would start calling me, you know, and would laugh. We'd end up talking for hours until 2 and 3 in the morning, until his siblings and his best friend was like, who is this that Norman is talking to till 3 in the morning? Like, we've never seen this. Like, this is not Norman. Because the guy is too serious to be giggling around at 2 a.m. And you know, I was so in love, but I didn't know it at the time. And we were in denial for a long time. And we said to each other, you know what? We can't do this. We can't be on the phone all the time because we're both leaders in church. We have to lead by example and all that. And so we wouldn't talk. A day would go by and we wouldn't talk, and then the next day one of us, the one would call the other, and it would be back to the 2 a.m. phone calls, 2 a.m. whatnot. So yeah, and at some point it got so intense that we were both so emotionally attached, but we weren't even dating, and we didn't even speak about our feelings. We just had this great friendship, and for some reason we would always be in the same group together that would have to complete a task, and we would execute it to the best of our abilities. Like I said, we're both passionate people, and that would, you know, it just made everything so beautiful, because I started to see how amazing this guy is, and I guess he started to see how amazing I am. I mean, it's me. But so yeah, I mean, that was that. And as time went on, it became really intense, where the emotions were overwhelming, to a point where we couldn't even focus anymore. And we had to say to each other, like, we can't do this anymore. We can't, because... And I actually remember telling him, someone's gonna get hurt. We are very emotionally attached. And so, you know, it was really hard. I didn't talk to him. He didn't talk to me 2 or 3 days. And this was now August. Yeah, July was a really rough month for us, because we fought so hard just to pull away, just to say, no, I can't do this because I don't want to get hurt. And I know what it felt like to get hurt. So I didn't want to do that. And it was just so difficult to stay away, to not talk to him, to not, you know, and it came to the point where this guy, you know, at some point he would buy me lunch every day. He was just so concerned about my well-being. And as time went on, we thought, we can't do this. Like, someone's gonna get hurt, and we thought not to talk to each other anymore. It was so difficult. I was so emotional. I mean, I think people at work were even like, what is going on with this girl? And as time went on, I think 2 or 3 days passed, I got a call from a certain pastor. Now, in our church, if you do know, you can ask me about this in my comment section, or you can inbox me on Instagram. Our church has this thing where, as a guy, if you are interested in a girl, and by interest, I'm talking marriage, when you foresee that someone may be your wife, you need to consult the leadership of the church. And the leadership of the church, you see how that number blood almost came out, the leadership of the church, they need to consult the girl. They need to call her, and it needs to be like, controlled environment. I can talk, if you want, I can talk to you about that at a later stage. I can explain that, because a lot of people misunderstand that and they don't get it. But it's just to protect the girl child and to make sure that there's no funny business going on, and also to promote accountability. One of the pillars of courtship, by the way. So at the end of the day, so the pastor called me, and I was like, why is the pastor calling me? He's like, yeah, can you come to our house on such and such a date? It was a Thursday, I think, on the 9th of August. We want to talk to you about something. And I said, okay, cool. Then he actually said to me, make sure that you dress up. I was like, okay. And if someone says make sure that you dress up, I bathed, guys. That day I bathed. I was like, I'm gonna dress up. So I kind of suspected that it might have been someone from church that had his eye on me, because I've been very active at church, during that time. So I was like, it's probably one of these guys. And I was ready to just be like, don't waste my time, because I was really not ready for my time to be wasted. And Thursday came, I went to the pastor's house looking very cute, smelling really good, because I had bathed really well. And I went there and I sat, and I knew it was a man, but I never thought that it would have been Norman, ever, 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 ever. And guess what? Norman showed up looking like the most beautiful man ever. And he sat and you know what he said? He's like, so the pastors were like, okay, no, we're gonna give you guys some time. So at that point, I already knew what was going on. And you must know that at this point, Norman and I were like, no, we can't do this. Like, the emotions are a lot. And we were given some privacy. And this guy was just straight to the point. He's like, you know what? I want to settle down with you. I'm in love with you. You are the woman for me. I was like, what? What? He said that, and I can't even explain the feeling. I felt overwhelming joy, emotions, everything, because I knew it was him. I knew. By the way, I forgot to mention, just before that, there was a time where we took time apart to pray, and we were like, we have to ask God, does he permit this relationship? Is this, are we doing this? And I already got a confirmation. God already told me that this is the person for me. And he was playing, around, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna get my time wasted. And that's how we got to a point where we were like, let's just not do this. My guy went there, and he was like, I'm in love with you. I want to settle down with you. I couldn't believe it. It was the happiest day of my life. It was the 9th of August, 2018. It was the most beautiful day. And I knew, I didn't hesitate. I was like, yeah, I know we can do this. And I don't even remember my exact words. I was so overwhelmed, but yeah, he did get an affirmative answer. And okay, I didn't get a whole romantic proposal, but for me, that moment was really beautiful, because that was proof that love is real and love exists. The feeling that I felt that day, I still can't put it into words. And I'm someone who talks a lot. I've always got a lot of words, but the day I can say and describe that day, or the feelings that I felt that day, I will share that with you. But yeah, that's how it happened. And so we got engaged, and yeah, I did speak about our courtship journey on one of my first videos. Just search something titled Our Courtship Struggles. It wasn't easy because a lot of people said a lot of things, even after our wedding, even during our courtship process. People didn't think we were gonna make it till this far. So many things were said to him, so many things were said to me, and I just want to say that we know, but we just pretend like we don't. Like, we smile with these people when we meet them, we greet them, we show them respect. At the end of the day, it's about us, and it's about our journey, and it's about our love. So yeah, I don't know, I've spoken for so long. There might have been some things that I left out, but there's always time for another video to do. Like maybe I can do a part 2 of our love journey, maybe even have him here, maybe we can do another Q&A. I don't know, let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm here for you. So yeah, that's like our love journey. I mean, it wasn't easy, but love is beautiful, guys. Love is beautiful. Coming from someone who has had such negative experiences in relationships, such terrible, terrible experiences. Let's not even get into that right now. To become someone who has the ability to love and who sees her as herself as being worthy of love and being loved. You know, for me, I always feel like my husband loves me more than I even love myself, more than I even thought love could ever love, if that even makes sense. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this story. If you want more details, please do not hesitate to just be right there in the comment section. Write it out there. I am here. I really want to interact with you guys on this one, so don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever it is that you need to do to show me some loving. I mean, of course, I'm here to give it right back to you. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Stay tuned for more videos to come. Ciao.